What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Yesterday, I had one play and ended up being a winner. It was the Spurs minus 10.5. Ended up winning by like 30. So NBA playoffs continue to treat me well, man. It's now 21-10 and just slightly below 40 units, I believe. That makes it for the playoffs. So good night last night, Vino. Hopefully you had one as well.
I did. We actually found three ways to win on the same game. I had the Spurs team total over 114 and a half, 126, fairly easy. And I had Spurs first quarter, just figuring that they would come out a little bit hot. They were 3.5. They won by 4 first quarter, but we did cash a 2-0. I got the numbers here, Skee, because I went in to see that you won last night. So it's now 58 and 32,
Nice.
64.4%. And I have, excuse me, plus 65 and a half units combined. So again, we're over 2 weeks into this thing and 64.5% and 65 and a half units, not too bad.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. So, man, if you guys want to get involved, you know where to do it. We'll talk about the games for today. We'll see if we can find some money. We'll start with the NBA, and that looks like Cavs, Pistons opened up 3.5. Looks like four. Total open 212. Looks like 211.5 at most shops. And I did see Duncan Robinson questionable, but I think they were going. He was going through shoot around. Um, we continue to say the same things in this series. Cavs just night and day, home and road, yet to win or cover a road playoff game. Look really good at home, can score at home. So now with the series heading back to Detroit, I mean, is it just right back to if it ain't broke, don't fix it? We take the Pistons here. How are you viewing it?
Boy, it seems that way, Ski. It seems like we'll be right back to watching James Harden try to split triple teams, dribble off his shoes, turn it over, that type of thing that we saw in the first two games. Couple of reasons, if I don't bet Detroit, I don't bet at all in this game. First off, Donovan Mitchell's going to have a target on his chest in this game. Detroit at home with a hyped up defense after what Mitchell did in the second half to them. You think to other guys scoring the way that Donovan Mitchell did in order to beat Detroit, and I just don't know that it's available in that type of bulk, 43 points. And then the other side of that equation, at least in my mind, is Cade Cunningham didn't have such a great game, and he just saw Mitchell put on a show for his home fan. I just have the idea that Cade is going to put on a show here for Detroit again tonight. We know he's more than capable of it. Detroit, very much where I'm concerned, has over exceeded expectations in their ability to score points in this series. Now, they're not the best or the most, they don't have the most scoring options, let's put it that way. But Cleveland's defense, we've talked about it all season long. It's a pretty good elixir for a team that's a mediocre offensive team. You play Cleveland's defense, you become a better offensive team. I think all of that happens tonight. There is one prop, Ski, that I'm going to go back to the well with here, and that's Sam Merrill, point total over 5.5. He's come back for 2 games. I won't repeat all the importance that the team has said, especially the head coach, Kenny Atkinson, has said about him being in the lineup. But I will say this. The first game back, he had the opportunity. He put up enough shots to be able to score 13 points, threes, a 2, and some free throws. 13. He scored 7 of those 13. Last game, he had the opportunity to score 23 points, only scored 6. He didn't even have a good game. We often talk about role players on the road, maybe doing less, but I don't know that Sam Merrill can do less than only scoring 25% of the points that are presented to him. If the focus is going to be on Mitchell tonight, the looks that Sam Merrill got in that last game were so wide open. They weren't even contested. Just feel like it's his third game back now. His shot attempts increased. His point potential increased from 13 to 23 in 2 games. I could see Sam Merrill having open looks again here. So I'm going to go back to the well with Sam Merrill as a prop play over 5.5 points in this one.
Marrow. Okay, I could understand that. Um, Somebody in the chat, Brian says Robinson threes at home. So I guess there are some player props. There was a guy in the chat said from Portugal looking for some player props. Well, there you go. You got a couple there. Um, yeah, this game I can't help but think it's gonna look more like the games that we saw in Detroit. That's just how I'm feeling. Um, Probably get some home cooking as well. They didn't have the friendliest whistle in that last game. All right.
Tony Brothers.
Good old Tony Brothers. All right, let's move to the W. We do have three games to talk about here, I believe. We will start with Storm and Toronto Tempo. Open up -3. Looks like 3.5 at most shops. Total opened 164.5. And I see this high as 168. Um, Timmy and Izzy both out for Toronto. Izzy for Seattle is out. It's the same people out every game. I mean, I know it's early, but I already get tired of repeating it because they're going to continue to be out. Um, when I think of the Seattle team, I don't think they can really stop anybody. I think teams can score on them. Um, and they're coming off a game where they shot really well and scored really well, winning as an underdog. Tempo, their first game, I feel like they had it wrapped up. They kind of gave it away at the end. And I don't know. I look at Sykes and Mabry on one side, Heideman and Horston on the other. I mean, I know which guards I like in my corner if I'm betting this game. And then being at home off of a more disappointing performance, I want to think it's Tempo -3.5 here, Vino. What do you think?
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff, Ski. I'll add to it that I don't think Washington had a miserable shooting game. That game came back and shot well against, or scored better against New York 2 days later. But I don't know that Toronto's got the interior to stop anybody or fear anybody. So that might make two teams that can't really stop people in this one. So over would be a consideration. Obviously, money has gotten to the over here. 164.5 open, 167.5 as high as 168 right now. People kind of see the same things. You know, Malonga for Seattle's a really good interior scorer. Maybe she can have her way. But the backcourt for Toronto, even in a loss, Mabry had 27 the other night. And so I would think that Toronto's capable of scoring here. It's been a crazy road or a crazy travel schedule for Seattle as well. I know they've had days off, but it was home all the way to the Uncasville, Connecticut, to the Mohegan Sun to play the Sun, who obviously are terrible defensively, and Seattle scored on them, and now to Canada to play Toronto. So it hasn't been the easiest of road trips. I would probably lean some form of over here. I didn't bet the game. I don't want to bet Toronto as a favorite as of yet, honestly, when I think both teams can score on one another. 168, they're asking you for a 86, 83 to get over if you take line and total into consideration. Maybe, I don't know that I can push it to that limit. You and I talked yesterday about when do these totals get to be a little bit too high. Last night, one really did get to be too high. So we'll see. It's a game I'll pass on.
You know what? The more I think about this, if I'm trusting Tempo to score, I mean, it's Mabry I'm trusting. And she didn't shoot it crazily well last game. She got to the free throw line a lot.
Yeah.
I think she could absolutely have a good game versus guards for Seattle. So maybe Mabry point prop is the better way to look in this game. All right. Next up, we will have Aces and Sun. Opened up -13.5, 14.5. Now 170.5 was the opener. Up as high as 172.5. And then you have Griner, Shea Petty, Layla, Leah Edwards, all ruled out. Angloma ruled out for the Aces. Janiyah Barker and Dana Evans, they both ruled out. The Aces had a pretty poor performance in the first game when they got their rings. They followed it up with a really strong performance in the second game. Now they're starting a road trip, and I do believe they play Connecticut again soon. But Connecticut, I mean, you saw the Storm put up 89 on them and win. I mean, it seems like really anybody should be able to score on this Connecticut team as long as they're interested. Will the Aces be interested enough? Um, I don't know that I could lay the 14. If I don't know. I'd be looking more towards Aces team total over, or maybe even Connecticut team total under. I don't know. Something about laying the points. I just don't want to do it. What do you think here, Vino?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement in that if the Aces are disinterested, it'll be on the defensive end.
Okay.
It was that way a lot last year. Remember, Becky Hammond had to call them out before they went on that 19 game win streak. She was calling them out once a month, maybe more than once a month, for just
She
not
did it
playing
after the first
defense.
game too.
Yeah, she rightfully so. Right? I mean, it's almost like they need that from her. But I'm with you. If I'm going to trust something here, it's going to be trusting Las Vegas offense and fading the Connecticut defense, which puts you right on the Las Vegas team total over. If New York got to 106, you already mentioned Seattle got to 89. Seattle didn't even shoot well to get to 89. Just Connecticut can't stop anybody. And if Griner, I heard you just say Griner's on the injury report, which I didn't see first thing this morning, but I'm hearing it now. Um, Not that she's any type of defensive force like she used to be, but she's basically their only size at the rim. So I could see Asia Wilson having a monster game. I could see the Aces having a huge offensive game. Again, we're going to put in quotes if they're interested, but I think players are always interested in getting their points. And against Connecticut, it's pretty easy to get your points. So if I'm going to play, it's going to be Aces team total over the 93 and a half.
And that makes sense. I could absolutely see that. Last game we have Sky and Valkyries. This one opened up 3.5 for the Valkyries, up as high as 6. And total also on the move, down from 172.5 as low as 166. Tiffany Hayes, Zandalicini both out once again. Cloud is actually game time decision for Chicago, but still no Sloot, no Westfield, no Carrington, or Azare Stevens. Um, you know, when I this Golden State team, they're not the fastest playing team, but they do shoot a lot of threes. And lately they've been making them. It's been helping them be in these high scoring games. I can't help but think you're going to see a little bit of regression here, at least a little bit. And if they're playing slow with some regression, it makes me understand why the total is going down. Um, any thoughts from you on the Chicago and Valkyries game?
Well, to your point, Ski, I mean, I know the market's in love with Golden State. First few games here, and this push from 3.5 to 5.5 shows it one more time. But even with the Chicago injury list, like I watched them against Portland the other day, play in front of 20,000 frenzied crowd, which is what you're going to get here in Golden State. Their interior game is nice. Chicago made their mind up in that game that they were just going to go to the rack all the time. Rakia Jackson, relentless to the rim. Cardoso in the paint, unstoppable in that game. Skylar Diggins, we all know she'll get to the rim. I don't know that Golden State has the ability to stop them from doing that. It makes the 6 really worth looking at here, taking it with Chicago. I just think if you're going to get a lower scoring game, kind of means less points for both sides. And Chicago's ability to get to the free throw line and get to the rim and have a size advantage on Golden State. I don't know. I'm starting to look at Chicago here plus the points. I know it's a tough place to play, and I know Golden State's been red hot, but I'm kind of with you in the fact that regression has to take place somewhere. We saw it with Golden State a lot last year, right? When they shot it really well, they were beating people, but then there's nights where they shoot like 21% from three, and they end up with like 63 points. So I don't know. Chicago's worth a look plus the points here to me, at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't be laying with the Valkyries either. I would be taking the points with the Sky as well. I agree with that. All right. Last game it looks like Fever and Sparks opened up -2.5 for the Fevers, down to 1 or 1.5. Total open 184.5. Not much movement. 185 or 185.5 is what we're looking at right now. Vegan is out for the Sparks. Everybody else in this game seems to be available. Um, High scoring games for both of these teams. I mean, what they gave up a lot. Fever gave up what 107. Sparks gave up 105. Um, I'm sure that's not really how they expected to start their season again. But if you think about these teams from last year, you're not really surprised with either one of those outcomes. So facing each other here, And game two, do we think we'll see any kind of defense? I mean, the market or the books don't think so with the 185 total.
Yeah, and they didn't think so last night in the Dallas game either, right? Dallas gave up 104 to the Fever, came back last night, only gave up 77 to Atlanta. I know we talked about that game yesterday. I thought to myself, if Atlanta can play any kind of defense, it would probably be an under. They did play some defense, or at least Dallas had a bad shooting night. Atlanta the same. And both of those teams have a lot of scores. Sparks have a lot of scores. I mean, adding NECA to that lineup gives them a bunch of scores. But man, that Las Vegas game Saturday, I don't know if it's because Becky cracked the whip or if LA just stinks again on defense. You have to kind of make up your mind there. But I'll say this: I think Indiana's going to look a little different with Monique Billings in the lineup. They made a concerted effort to get her in the offseason. Billings didn't play the first game; she'll play here. I always like to believe that coaches want to correct what went wrong in game one. Dallas is under a new head coach, new system, etc. Maybe that had something to do with the 107 that they gave up to a really good offensive team. I kind of like Indiana in this game. The money doesn't think so. Money's on the Sparks here to bounce back. Second home game. Generally, I like those types of teams. You lose at home, you get another shot at home in front of the home crowd. I like to play them. But I do think Indiana's probably the slightly better team here. I just saw this thing, Skee. I'm looking over here in one spot, click up to 186.5. I'm somewhat hesitant to go ahead and play over, but man, it's not going to surprise me if this thing finds its way to 187. It really wouldn't. We're going to find out if Indiana has any bit of a different look with Billings in the lineup defensively. And I will say this already in a lot of stuff I read, there's whether just or unjust, I'm not sure, but there's criticism of Stephanie White's handling of this team. Play calling, offensive sets, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think Indiana's still a really good offensive team. I think with Billings in the lineup, they're probably the right side here.
You said that you like to think teams correct what went wrong last game. What went wrong for the Fever last game? You're not getting any stops. Right. Not getting any stops at all. I mean, I like to think you get some kind of a better defensive effort, just like the Wings gave in the last game.
That's right.
Sparks, what went wrong for them? Giving up 105. I mean, all they talked about in the post game was, well, not all they talked about. NECA, really, she was like, well, first of all, KP said we're not the same team that we were last year. That's one thing she said that stood out to me, because I was thinking the same thing when I was watching. I'm like, they miss Rakia, they miss Azare. Where are the buckets at? At one point, KP just said, fuck it, I'm going to just go and do whatever I can do to help the team score. Like, they don't have enough scoring. They're not going to be able to win games just outscoring everybody this year, if that's how it's going to look. They're going to have to play some defense. And NECA said that, we should see an improvement on defense in this next game. That's what she said. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean. But, all the 1+1, as far as mindset and everything, it's telling me that they're going to try. And 185.5, a lot has to go right to get to 186. Any last thoughts here, Veno?
It's a lot of points. And I'm thinking, as you're saying, that all those years in Seattle, I mean, NECA comes here and she's like, wait a minute, this isn't how we play defense all these years I was in Seattle. Something's got to give. And, obviously you have to have the people or the players buy in. I think Indiana's side will. I think Indiana's got big expectations this year. I think they'll buy in defensively. But I'm in agreement with you. Like I say, I always feel like coaches love to fix what went wrong. Defense went wrong on both sides. Addition of Billings should be helpful to the Fever here on both ends.
And lastly, NECA was part of some good teams in LA, and she said it did feel good to be back. She said this is not the standard, so yeah. Maybe she'll come right the ship defensively in LA. They haven't been playing no defense since she left. I'll tell you that. We'll see how it looks tonight. Got Manila in the building. We have Portugal. We have Manila. We got a lot of people all around the world, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in. I think we
Go
did.
worldwide, Skee.
Yeah, we worldwide around here, you know. I like that. All right, that'll wrap it up. Before we get to a best bet, let's see what we got here. What do we have here today? We're gonna rock with Old Faithful because it's the best promo ever created. 45 and 23, double the NBA court vision. You get 3 days for $59. Both Rob, and myself, and I mean, he gave the numbers. What are we above 64%? Um, on the playoffs so far, 60 something units. I mean, it don't get no better than that. If you want to check us out, give it a shot. See if you want to rock longer term. This is a good way to do it. And have to shout this out. I did say it on WagerTalk today, this morning. So it really might be going away very soon because everybody's watching that one. I saw the higher ups in the chat, so it might be disappearing at midnight tonight. But they still have WNBA early bird pricing up there, and you get the rest of the NBA playoffs for free. Um, yeah, I don't know if it gets any better than that as far as how you want to get involved. So, Vino, I'm gonna pass it to you. Is there anything else you would like to promote? Um, Feel free, and if you have a best bet, we'd love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good. We're not letting the bullies get us around here.
And I can see the front office scrambling now. Who's responsible for leaving that thing up? Skee's out there promoting that thing. Who's responsible? Guys, take advantage while you can. The W and the NBA, you're going to hear it here every day on Skee's show for the next few months. So go ahead and take advantage while it's still up there. I will leave a best bet today, Skee, because I have a lot of faith in the Fever to bounce back. Bad loss at home the other night, 107, the other day, 107, 104. Game came with a lot of expectations, a lot of fanfare. They didn't produce for the home fans. I know the money's going the other way towards Los Angeles, but I just don't see it. I think that the Fever, better personnel, better chance to correct things here with Monique Billings in the lineup than LA has. And one last thing I'll add here is I didn't even think of it this way until you mentioned it. You mentioned LA might not have enough scores this year, and I really didn't look at it from that angle. But now that you say that, and I look back at the box, you know what? You're probably right. They might not have enough scoring options, so to speak, this year, other than the top two on the team. So I'm going to take Indiana minus. There's a lot of ones out there, guys, but I'll be fair and leave it at -1.5. Indiana Fever best bet -1.5 tonight.
I like it. You know what? I'm gonna open up my wallet. You guys know I don't like to make bets unless I actually have it in my pocket. So my bad. I was thinking if I'm gonna make it. Let me just open it up real quick and see what the best number we have. While I do that, Vino, maybe you can remind everybody one more time where we're at for
Yeah,
NBA playoffs.
real quick, since the playoffs started April the 18th, Saturday, April the 18th, combined numbers between Skee and myself 58 good, 32 bad. That comes out to 64.5%. If you combine the units of profit made between the two of us here in the postseason, NBA postseason, it's plus 65.5 units. So that's 64.4% winners, 65.5 units of profit made between the two of us. If you're interested in any of the selection packages, again, I'll say this: if there's folks out there watching us on this show each day that want to combine forces for the WNBA, which right now is listed as separate packages, I'm sure you could just write into the Detroit office and they would find some type of reasonable price to combo the two for W as well. So once again, 64.4%, 65.5 units made in the NBA playoffs in just a little over 2 weeks.
And we're gonna do our best to keep it going. So I'm locked in now. You know, sometimes we had a guy. Sometimes people lie. We had Jalen Brown come on last year, not come on, but go last year and talk about feels like we're in a track meet every day. Sometimes people lie, but I'm gonna believe them until they show me that they're lying. Spark saying that we got to change some stuff up. We got to play some defense. This is not the standard. Both teams coming off giving up 100 plus points. Um, I think this is a lower scoring game. Three of the 4 meetings last year, none of them made it to this number. I look at the Sparks last season in games totaled above 179. 3-0 to the under. I mean, we know how the Sparks played last year. It was all offense, no defense. Sometimes these totals are just too high. So my best bet for the show, Indiana and Los Angeles. Best number I got was under 185 and a half. That'll be my best bet for the show. And yeah, if I didn't mention it already, I do have a 5% in the association tonight. So 5% are 6-1 so far this playoffs. If you'd like to be involved, right there at WagerTalk. Vino, always appreciate you taking the time to cap these games. Helps my process. I'm sure it helps everybody else out there as well. Chat, we appreciate you guys for a lot of different reasons. And Vino, we're gonna be missing you for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'll be gone from tomorrow the 14th till the 21st of May. So 7 days. I'll get back with you next Friday. Yeah, we're gonna enjoy a little Hilton Head, South Carolina. So if there's anybody watching from Hilton Head, South Carolina, come say hi. You'll find me over there. Trying to beat up some people my age in pickleball or something. But we're gonna have a little fun on Hilton Head Island.
Sounds good. Enjoy yourself, Vino. We'll see you when we get back. Sorry, you guys, for a week you got to deal with just me over here on the screen, but we'll get Vino back eventually. Best of luck, everybody, on all your action tonight. I will catch you guys tomorrow.